Hi everyone, welcome to the Node.js Technical Steering Committee meeting of the 14th of February 2024. And happy St. Valentine's Day. If you are having an happy day here, welcome. I'm here with my fellow Node.js TSC members, as well as Paolo Insogna, that was recently nominated. And congratulations, Paolo. Okay, again, you are here. Hello. Okay. On top of that, we have a few. Let's start with the agenda. Okay, we don't have a packed agenda today, but the first thing is we are going to have a collaborator summit in London, and there will be a registration form available soon.
There is no venue yet, right?
And the venue is it's not public yet. I have the venue. Okay, it's the contract is not signed, so once the contract is signed, it's on. But it's done. Okay, I have on good words that is just a matter of it's just a matter of time for this to happen. So it's going to be near Bank if you want to know where to book the hotel. It's hopefully that helps everybody. Yes, that's the main announcement. Okay. Then there are security releases coming out later today, when Rafael goes online or something like that. And this security release has been plugged by a lot of hard work for a lot of people. So this is pretty sorry. We have been on a queue of a lot of PRs to be landed and released in the Node project. So hopefully once we get these over, we can start landing those. Sorry for the long lock of CI. Yeah, so there is that. Then update for the board meeting. There's no board. The board meeting is this Friday, so no updates. Big update from CPC is the Blue Oak license was approved by the board. So so there was approved by OSI and then was approved by the board. So now, Node.js is okay, essentially, because we already included the Node.js, the Blue Oak license, and we didn't have to remove NPM forcefully because they depend on a non-OSI compliant license, essentially. So this is, we are back in the land of goodwill, essentially. So there is that. Okay. Then updates on the travel fund landed. So there's still more work happening on that, but stuff happening. And
so you say the first update landed?
I think so. Yes, I think the first.
Okay. I've been away, so I'm just catching up.
Oh yeah. So I was checking and I looked at it and it was something landed. So the form landed and the old repository have been archived. So now the travel fund applications are private. This was a problem for a lot of privacy things. So it's now they are private, which is a good thing. We're still working on the rubric and all the other stuff, Michael. So, but at least the core of the work is being done. Okay. The generic main change of this, just to highlight it to people, because like last year there was not enough money for everybody that wanted it, and we ran out at the middle of the year. Okay. This year there's probably going to be some change, some selection. Okay. Some criteria in which who is going to get the funds. The result is that it's unlikely, not certain, unlikely that you could get the travel fund twice in a year. So here we go. Okay. So there is that. Okay. Cool. Then I think we can, I don't know, I don't have any other issues on this front. I want to mention a first issue on the Node.js node repo. The issue is about fix DOS vector in A2B, which is one of the oldest function in the JavaScript ecosystem, and something that was added later on in the Node.js life, basically for backward compatibility. But it's somebody sent a PR to optimize it. And the fundamental question here is that when it was added, we said that we didn't want to optimize them, okay? And we in the docs we said that we don't want to optimize them because essentially they should not be used, but people are using them. So
See the PR. The PR vastly improves performance, but also introduces a DOS vector.
well, it's there's no the DOS vector is just super slow. Okay, so it's just it's a DOS vector because it's a super slow almost on purpose. Don't use this. So if you use this, you are DOS. You know it works as expected as a way to not use it.
So there was an earlier PR, which I think was closed, or maybe it's still open, that was trying to speed it up, but it was pulling in a brand new like dependency. And the consensus around that PR was we didn't want to pull in a new dependency solely to speed up this function that we didn't want people. We were not trying to encourage people to use. I think if on balance, it really depends. If it's not huge, complicated, but the problem with performance stuff is it's some performance changes are nice and simple, and some are really complicated. And you look at it and you can't understand what it's how it's speeding things up, or you understand how, but it's really hard to read because they unroll loops or make things like 100 times longer than the sort of the slow version. I did see that there were some comments that maybe I'm trying to remember which one it was now, that one of the other dependencies that we are using now may have base64 encoding in the future, and that I might be less opposed to if it's using something that we're already including, or sorry, we may be already including sort of in the future because the dependency we're already using may provide some additional functionality that could be used. And then there was something about TC39, but then the sort of concerns around that is that might take a long time to go through and sort of make it filter down through V8. So yeah, I mean, I think I'm a bit sympathetic because I don't know that just blanket saying no performance changes is. I mean, it really depends on what the change is, isn't it? I mean, if it was such a trivial change, but it made a huge difference, then why wouldn't we take it? And then the other, I saw Michael's got his hand up, but the only other thing I remember reading from the PR was there was mention that an acknowledgement that in recent times compared to before, we've been more accepting of PRs that improve the interoperability story between browsers and Node. So if that helps people port applications between those environments, then maybe it's something we consider.
I was kind of gonna ask the same question that you asked there near the end, was why wouldn't we take it in terms of like Richard said, if it pulls in a new dep, okay, I can see that. If it's like overly complex and there's a big risk of it breaking people, but if it's a simple enough change and it's faster, why not, right?
I don't, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think anyone in this PR was opposed to it. Nobody requested changes. Nobody
Well, there have been a long comments from Joey and others. So
yes. But those mostly refer to that other PR that Richard mentioned, where essentially Anna at the time and James were both very much against that PR. They both requested changes on the original one. James mostly, as far as I can tell, because it originally added another dependency, and Anna had the stronger opinion that because nobody should be using the function, we should not encourage its use by optimizing it.
Okay.
As in the new PR, I remarked that we have been leaning towards interoperability and performance more recently. So maybe the Node community is more accepting towards that, would even be more accepting towards the original PR these days. And yeah, I don't think anyone was strongly opposed to this PR, especially since it only touches JavaScript. It doesn't add anything. But yeah, Richard is right. Daniel hinted that he might add support for that to, I don't know, base 64 Zimt or whatever it's called later. And that might actually remove a ton of code from our code base while improving performance, which would be neat. Yeah, I think that's mostly on the agenda to see if anyone is opposed to optimizing the performance of that function or to not do it just to make a point out of not encouraging its use. To be fair, I still don't really see the security angle here. It hasn't. I think the argumentation for that has been kind of weak in the PR, but as a performance improvement, it's fine.
So we don't have quorum generically here. So what I think we can do is we don't see any problems, and if not, land it, essentially. That's the...
Yeah, I think there's nothing stopping it from being merged.
Yeah, if no one's actually blocked it, then that can actually.
Well, the question I asked Joey directly, are you objecting? Because I don't understand from her comment if it's going to, if she's objecting or not. Bye.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same. Like, if there's no reason, like saying we might have another change later that would be even better. It's like, I don't think delaying a current change for that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Like, let's do things incrementally, and if it gets taken out by something better, great, but let's not block it based on that.
Yeah, I think the sentiment there is that why would we add complexity to a function that nobody should use when we can just wait for a better solution in a dependency? But I agree, Michael, we don't have to wait for that. We can accept some complexity now.
As long as that's not over, like, if it's like if we're pulling it a depth, maybe that's too far. If it's super complicated and we think it could break things, but it sounds like it's sort of in the middle ground, right?
Yeah, the original PR added a dependency and then provided a C++ implementation. The new PR just changes JavaScript, so I think it's not too controversial.
Well,
Okay.
that's the that's I agree.
So should we just make a comment like we had six?
I'm writing it.
Okay, you're writing it perfect.
So there doesn't seem to be any objection to this change because it's minimal and it only touches JavaScript. So from the 6 members of today's TSC, it can land. Cool. Yeah. Posted. Let's see. Joey. Joey. Sorry. Here we go. Sorry, I forgot. I didn't see Joey. Here we go. Hello. Hi, Joey. Sorry, I didn't see you in the attendee list.
Hello. Nice.
Cool. Have you got anything to say on this? The A to B PR?
Let me open it. Yeah, the idea is to discuss whether so previously Anna and James mentioned that it was not supposed to be used, so it should not be optimized. But the idea is whether, even though the goal is not to make it as fast as possible, whether it's reasonable to at least make the computational complexity of it like reasonable instead of like having a pretty interesting performance cliff.
Cool. Well, it doesn't like if there is nobody let's ask for people that are objecting, because the people here in the call were not. They didn't see any problem with the current state of that PR. Like the change were minimal overall. Of that specific, like in this 90, 60 lines of code, like it doesn't seem like a lot. Cool. Okay. Yeah, if I pinged James and Anna that objected on the previous PR, so let's see what they say. So next issue is the Collab Summit. Okay, which is confirmed. So let's do that. Then we have so there are two things for the Collab Summit. I already said, but I repeat, there will be a form for registration. Okay, the registration form is mandatory for various reasons, but it's going to be mandatory. So if you're coming, you need to fill the form. Okay, and that's it. And the location, it should be near the bank tube station in London. More formal communication will arrive in the next few days. So next issue is issue 247 of the Next 10 repo, is a deep dive of advocacy and promotion for the project.
Yeah, I can just, it's only on the agenda as a FYI, hoping to get as many, people there who are interested. Current target date is February 29th at 11 to 1 Eastern. Particularly if you're involved in Node.js advocacy, we're looking for people to come and sort of, we can work through. The deep dives are always like, hey, on this topic, where do we stand? Is our advocacy story well mapped out? We're doing everything we need to. Okay, good. We don't have anything more to talk about. Or wait a sec, here's the gaps. And then what are the next actions we want to take to fill those gaps? And it's not necessarily just people directly involved in the core or something like that. We're just looking for anybody who's involved in advocacy so that we can try and get a good handle on that.
Yep. Seems pretty great. Yeah. Cool. Okay. I don't think there is anything else unless we want to talk a little bit about the strategic initiatives.
I think we had some private business, so maybe it makes sense to flip back to that.
Thank you very much, folks, for watching, and subscribe to the Node calendar if you want to know when we are going to be live, or you can click on the subscribe button on YouTube. That also works. And that's it.